say, Peter Dinklage held this up as the ugliest tape recorder you've ever seen this.
He did the boombox thing.
He did the boombox thing with it, but you know what? I love this tape recorder.
Yeah, if it works for you, stick with it.
Tell us about you and the show. What do you think of it?
Well, I'm super excited for this year. It's sort of an anomaly insofar as that it's becoming more popular each year, and I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that nobody heard of it for the first 4 years. And so I still have people. I was literally just talking to Jonah Hill next door, who I had met a bunch of times in the past, but he said he just started watching it in a hotel room while he was shooting his most recent film. And it was season 6, and he was saying how funny and how much he was enjoying it, and that makes me feel so great that people can come to it later on and enjoy it.
And Rob, what's the appeal of the show for you?
I get to work with my wife and my friends and DeVito, and we get to do whatever we want. So we come in, we say, what do we want to do an episode about today? I want to do this. We break it down, we write it, we shoot it, we put it on the air. Yeah, just a really amazing, creative environment, full of executives that get the show on the studio and the network side. Everybody supports the show, they support us, and they want us to keep going.
You have no problem with suits?
Me, no. I mean, in our process on our show, the network and the studio have been integral, not only in obviously production and distribution, but from a creative standpoint, really making the show what it is. Yeah. That's been our experience.
Misadventures are we going to see this year?
This year? Well, this episode we're about to screen is our season premiere. It's called Frank's New Girl Life, and it's an episode sort of based on. We were watching Pretty Woman recently. It was on TV, and we were like, people think our show is offensive. To me, a movie like that is offensive. Even though I loved it, I still felt like, wow, what a misrepresentation of what that would be like. To find a prostitute and to marry her. Would she look and act like Julia Roberts? A real prostitute. Like you go to the South Bronx and you drive around and you find a crack whore prostitute. Is she going to look like Julia Roberts? Is she going to look like Eric Roberts? More likely. So we decided to go down that road and see what would that really be like? So to me, people might see that episode and think, Jesus Christ, that's so wild or offensive or whatever. To me, it's a more fair representation of what that experience would really be like. So that's our first episode.
So is Eric Roberts starring in that?
No, that would be amazing. It just popped into my head. That would be amazing. To have Eric Roberts in drag. Why weren't you in there? You should have been in the writer's room. That would have been amazing.
Who played your prostitute?
It's this really wonderful actress who I don't know if you would have heard of her. Because she was really, really good. Hey, Paul, can you ask What's the name of the Charlie, do you remember the actress's name who plays Frank's wife? Alana Ubach. IMDb her. She's really, really, really amazing. So fun.
What can you talk about? Some favorite returning people. I know we talked a couple weeks ago about who's coming back, but who that we've seen over the years is going to be around this season?
Well, Rickety Cricket. Rickety Cricket comes back as played by David Hornsby. We were lucky to get him back because he's got a new show now on CBS, which is literally like taking his life away from him. He's back. I don't know. We try to do some new stuff this year. Artemis is back, obviously, but we want to really find. When you're 7 years in, you don't want to just keep rehashing the same jokes and do the same storylines. So we wanted to make sure that we, and yet you still want to deliver the same show because ultimately the fans want to see the show, and yet not see the same recycled shit over and over again. So we really worked hard to find some new things, but still keeping the same tone.
What other shows you worked on? What did you do before you did 7?
As a writer?
Yeah.
Nothing. This is my first show.
Really?
Yeah.
As a producer, nothing before that too?
No. I waited tables. I waited tables for a really long
So
time.
this is your very first time out, and you got a 7-year series.
Yeah. Yeah, we've been like incredibly lucky, and certainly have a tremendous amount of perspective as far as that goes.
What did they respond to when you pitched them? Because the show is very unconventional.
Well, we didn't pitch them. I shot it first. So we went out and shot the first episode just on just a crappy camera, and then master-produced the show. And we just cut it on a computer, and then I said, hey, this is what the show is.
And did you cast your wife after?
Afterwards, yeah. We recast the actress who played it in the one that we did in the pilot. Okay. She didn't become my wife until years later. I got really lucky.
Wow, very nice.
Yes.
And what did you do with the title?
The title?
Yeah.
Where did we come up with the title? Originally, it was called "It's Always Sunny on TV," just because we thought that was really interesting. That whenever you turn on a sitcom, it's always like really bright and sunny, and the tone of the show is the complete opposite. And then we wanted to make it more specific to a blue-collar town, so we just decided let's name it the longest possible name we've got in the history of television.
Last question.
How'd you book DeVito? How'd you land DeVito?
We shot the first season, and he watched it. Unfortunately, nobody else did. And FX was like, look, we can't do the show anymore unless we can get more people to watch it. It's sort of like a basic economic model we have, and it goes like this. If nobody watches the show, we don't make any money. So we were like, all right, we got that. And the only way to get somebody to watch the show is to have, oftentimes, to have a little bit more cachet. We called up DeVito. It turns out he watched it. And I went over to his house. I pitched him what I think what the character wound up being. He loved it. He signed on like that day. Crazy. Yeah.
Thanks, guys.